25 minutes before 11 o'clock. A couple of years ago, we were on a fundraising campaign to raise money for the Literacy Council, and so we decided to do landscape paintings. And we decided to do the landscape paintings at the different state parks here in Florida because the state parks allowed dogs. And so it was such a great thing, because in the beginning it was so hard. Like, you'd go to a city park or some other park and they would say no pets allowed. You go, oh man. And then when we learned that the Florida state parks all allow dogs, with maybe one or two exceptions, I think Wakey Watchy is one. You can't bring your dog to the mermaids.
Right.
But we would go and we would walk through the woods, literally looking for like a good place, something scenic to paint. And then we basically camp out there. Okay, so one of the times we went, we got back from the trip, and I felt a tick on my neck. You said you had a tick somewhere on your body.
Yeah.
And then I thought, what about the dog? What about the dog? So I rolled her over, and I'm looking, and sure enough, I'm finding these little ticks. And you know what? Maybe, I don't know how much time, maybe a month or two later, I found out, I guess they get big when they stay there a long time. And I found this big, nasty tick behind her ear. It was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was horrible.
We didn't get them all. And everybody knows that ticks carry disease. So Dr. Katy Nelson is on the phone. She is a doctor of veterinary medicine. She's known as Dr. Paws. She's the host and the executive producer of the Pet Show with Dr. Katy. She's going to talk to us about ways that we can protect our pets from Lyme disease. And she's on the phone right now. Good to have you on the show, Dr. Nelson. It's such an honor. Good morning.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you guys are having as beautiful weather there in Florida as we are in D.C.
You're in D.C.? Okay. Well, that was my first question. Where are you calling from? Yeah. Yeah, and I guess ticks are not exclusive to Florida. I mean, I'm sure they are everywhere. Am I right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the thing about it is that Lyme disease, we all know Lyme disease is carried by ticks. And for many, many years, Lyme disease was looked at as a sort of a northeast disease. It was named after a city in Connecticut. And so everybody kind of thought about it like, oh, well, Lyme disease is only found in that region of the country. But now, over the past probably 10 or 15 years, we've actually diagnosed Lyme disease in every single one of the lower 48 states. So it is something that is very, very real. It affects our pets. It affects people. And, it's just, unfortunately, it's only just one of the things that ticks carry. So they're everywhere, and they're very deadly.
So what's the solution to the problem? Is there a Lyme disease vaccine or something?
Well, there is, but, one of the best ways actually to prevent Lyme disease is to prevent the tick from ever getting on your pet in the first place. There are products that we've used for years, Advantage, Advantix, Frontline, all of these products that we've used for years that are topical medications that you can put on your cat or your dog. And you put them on once a month, and they can actually prevent the fleas and ticks from actually getting on your pets in the first place. Unfortunately, sometimes there is some resistance that's built up to these products. My family is in Louisiana, and my father had used one particular product for 2 or 3 years, and then he was finding that his dogs were still having ticks.
Oh,
still
really?
having fleas. Yep. So he actually ended up switching to the other product, and that one worked for a couple of years, and then he had to kind of go back and forth. So there is some resistance that's built up.
That's interesting.
So you do need to make sure that your product is working well for your particular pet. And the other thing that we have to think about, too, during these summer months is it's not just ticks, it's mosquitoes as well. We've all really heard about the Zika virus.
Right.
And so far, thankfully, we have no evidence that this is affecting our pets yet. But we all do know about heartworm disease. I mean, you guys being in Florida, you all know about heartworm disease.
Right.
That's transmitted by mosquitoes.
Right. What's it, filibert? Is that what I gave my dog, the filibert? What is that thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Does that ring a bell with that? Whatever. I don't remember what it was. A big pill. A filibert, I think it was called.
Once a month.
Yeah.
Filaribits is probably what you
okay. I'm pronouncing it wrong.
But no, there's Heart Guard, there's Interceptor, there's Sentinel. There's all sorts of products out there now that you can use as well that can help to prevent heartworm disease in our pets. But, again, another really good idea is to prevent them from biting your pets in the first place. And some of the ways that you can do that is to, you guys were talking about landscape paintings. Well, talking about landscaping in your yard, some of the things that you can actually do to help prevent mosquitoes and ticks in your yard is to kind of clear out some of the tall grasses and the brush around your house and at the edge of your lawn, because that's where ticks really like to live. To, make sure you mow your lawn frequently. I know that sounds kind of silly, but it really does kind of help to cut down on those ticks. And also keeping standing bodies of water in your yard. If you've got a moving body of water, great. But if you're, right there, being in Florida, I'm sure you guys have lots of little canals and things like that, that's where the mosquitoes grow. So if you can kind of keep some of that down in your yard, that can definitely help. Right. There's also some really cool products that you can have for your house or even your car or directly on your pet. There's a product called Insect Shield for pets that they actually make T-shirts and bandanas and things like that your dogs can wear, that they actually prevent mosquitoes and ticks and fleas from getting on your pets. And then they also make like beds and car liners and things like that can actually help. If you have gone out, as you were talking about, for a hike and your dog jumps in the car, it can help.
Let me ask you an interjective question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm guessing some people just use the same sunscreen, the same insect repellent, the same mosquito repellent on the dogs that they use on themselves. In other words, the human products, the off, like Deep Forest off
Deep
and
Woods
things.
Off.
Yeah, is that a bad idea?
It actually is, because if you think about it, we're not licking our skin, so we don't really want to. We don't have to worry about ingesting.
That's true. We don't lick our skin.
Most of the time. Or hopefully not. But our dogs and our cats do that, so we have to be really careful about what we put on them. Some of the Avon Skin So Soft products are actually okay if you're doing a light spritz on your pet, and some of the children's products are actually okay, but they do make specific products for pets, and all it takes is a quick Amazon search for sunscreen for dogs and mosquito repellent for dogs, things like that. But a lot of our topical products, like the Advantix, the Canine Advantix, actually does prevent mosquitoes from landing on your pets as well. So, talking with your veterinarian about the best products you can use for your particular pet can definitely help.
Do the collars work, the flea collars? Do they work for flea and tick collars? They never seem to work for my dog.
Yeah, there are some new ones out. I can't remember the name of the newest one right now, but there are some new ones that actually are purported to work for up to 6 to 8 months for your pet. So that's something you can actually ask your veterinarian about as well. The good thing about them is that they are, if your dog gets wet or you have to bathe your dog, that's not going to deactivate those collars. Our topical products that we put on our pets, they all claim to be waterproof, and they are waterproof, but they are not soap-proof, and they're not chlorine-proof. So if your dog swims in your pool or if you have to give your dog a bath, those products are going to be stripped out of the skin.
Does Lyme disease show up right away on your pet, or does it hibernate for a while?
Yeah, it actually takes about 6 months for them to be positive on a test. So, if your dog has a tick on it today and you could take them tomorrow to the vet, that's not going to show up. The great news about Lyme disease in dogs is that about 95% of dogs that actually show up positive don't form active, they don't actually have the active form of the disease. They can actually clear it out of their system, but they'll always be positive, and it always sort of sits dormant in them, so it can come out later on in life. But most of the dogs that are positive for Lyme don't actually form active disease. So that's one positive thing for our pets.
Okay,
nice.
Doctor, I know we have a very short visit with you, but we do have a phone call. Can you take a call real quick?
Absolutely.
Good morning. Thank you for calling and waiting. You're on the air with Dr. Katy Nelson.
Yes, thank you, and thank you, Doctor. Say, is there any research being done to get a vaccine to prevent heartworm in dogs and animals, which is a very, very terrible thing? And it's been around for such a long time. You'd think that some research would be started to develop a vaccine or something that would prevent that terrible disease.
Yeah, I mean, the vaccine, I'm not really sure about the research on that, but we do have some really awesome products out there that are about 99.5% effective. So by giving the monthly prevention, you've got about 99.5% of protection against that disease. So we've got great products out there to prevent it. You just have to make sure that you do it. But I mean, it would be the same thing for the vaccine if we had one. You would just have to make sure that you kept up on it. So, we've got great products. Just use the ones that your veterinarian recommends and make sure that all of your pets are on it. Even indoor cats need to be on heartworm prevention, not just the dogs and cats that go outside. So making sure all of your pets are on it not only protects the ones that do go outside, but it protects all of the other animals that are around you as well.
All right, great information. Doctor, thank you for being on the air. Before we say goodbye, can you leave us with a website?
Absolutely. You can find out more about me and our show on thepetshow.tv.
Thepetshow.tv.
Cool.
Can we watch you on the web?
Absolutely, you can.
All right, I'm looking forward to doing that. Well, Doctor, thank you for being on our show. And my dog was 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
It just died back in November, I think,
Yes.
something like that. Yeah. So.
Oh,
I know.
I'm so sorry.
Every once in a while, I'll see a puppy. I'll say maybe.
Yeah.
Not yet. Dr. Nelson, thank you so much for being on the air with us today.
Okay, thanks for having me.
All right, we will take a little break. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunshine mixing with clouds today. There can be a shower or thunderstorm in the area this afternoon and evening. High 79 at the coast, but up to 86 inland. And partly cloudy later Monday night. Low 62 inland, 67 on the coast. Tuesday, mostly sunny. High 81 at the coast, 87 inland. For Wednesday, partly sunny. High 82 at the coast, 89 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.